Everyone has pain, everyone carries something, but not everyone uses it to control you. Covert narcissists don't wear their ego loudly. They don't dominate rooms, they don't demand attention with volume or flair. Instead, they slip into the role of the wounded one, the sensitive one, the misunderstood one, and they lead with their pain. At first, it feels honest, raw, relatable. They open up early, they tell you how much they've been hurt, how cruel the world has been to them, how they've always been the one getting left behind, overlooked, betrayed. You lean in, you feel compassion. You want to be the safe space they've never had. But what you don't see right away is how their wounds aren't shared for connection. They're shared for control. Every confession becomes a contract. You listened, so now you owe them. You understand them, so now you must never criticize them. You know their triggers, so now you're responsible for avoiding them. It becomes a silent rule. Don't ever make the wounded one feel bad. And if you do, if you speak up, if you need something that they can't give, or won't, suddenly they're the victim again. You hurt them. You're the one who doesn't understand. You've triggered their trauma. How could you? It's not a conversation, it's a trap, because now, anytime you try to set a boundary, they bleed. They turn their past pain into a shield that deflects accountability, and a blade that cuts down anyone who asks for change. You'll find yourself shrinking, tiptoeing, staying quiet, not because they asked, but because they hurt. But real healing doesn't demand your silence. Real pain doesn't need a stage. And real vulnerability doesn't punish the people who love you. So if someone's past is always center stage, if they use their wounds to control the story, rewrite reality, or make you feel like the villain for simply having a voice, that's not healing. It's manipulation, and it's not your job to bleed to keep them comfortable. You start to notice it in small moments. You express a need, you set a boundary, you say, hey, that didn't feel okay, and suddenly, you're the bad guy. Covert narcissists don't explode, they don't scream or throw things. That would be obvious. Instead, they sigh, they retreat, they look hurt, they tell you you've changed, that you're being too harsh, too sensitive, too cold, and just like that, the spotlight shifts. Now you're not talking about what they did, you're defending why you even brought it up. They guilt you, softly, strategically. They might say things like, I guess I'm just a horrible person then, or, I can't do anything right with you. It feels like self-blame on the surface, but it's actually a demand for you to back down, for you to feel like the one who caused the harm. And it works. Because you're kind, you're thoughtful. You don't want to make someone you care about feel worse, so you soften. You say sorry, you let it go, until it happens again, and again. Over time you start to question yourself. Maybe you are too demanding, maybe you do expect too much, maybe you should just stay quiet. And that's exactly what they want, because silence protects them, because your discomfort makes them feel safe, because guilt is their favorite tool, not to heal but to hold power. You'll find yourself rewriting your own instincts, avoiding truth just to keep the peace, choking down your voice so they don't feel bad. But love that requires silence isn't love, it's emotional control dressed in sensitivity. You are allowed to speak up. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to exist without managing someone else's emotional reactions. Covert narcissists play the victim, so they can avoid accountability. And guilt, that's just how they keep you quiet. At first, it's subtle. They misquote you, they twist what happened, they leave out a key detail just enough to change the meaning. You try to correct them. You say, that's not how it happened. But by then, the damage is already done, because covert narcissists don't lie with volume. They lie with selective truth. They change the narrative in a way that keeps them looking like the one who was wronged. They frame your boundaries as cruelty, your silence as abandonment, your exhaustion as evidence that you were never committed. You hear them telling other people half-stories, watered-down versions, carefully edited, and in every single version they are the misunderstood hero, the one who gave too much, loved too deeply, tried so hard only to be hurt by your sudden change. But what you experienced was real. What you felt wasn't made up. And the story they're telling isn't being told for healing, it's being told to protect their image. They don't just rewrite the truth to cope. They rewrite it to keep you in check, to isolate you, to make sure that if you ever speak your truth, people will already have a reason not to believe you. Because they got there first. You'll start to doubt yourself. Maybe I was too reactive. Maybe I did say something I forgot. Maybe I really am the problem. But here's what's actually happening. You are being rewritten in their story to excuse their behavior and justify their lack of accountability. They don't care about understanding. They care about looking innocent. So if you feel like someone keeps painting you as the villain, when all you did was finally stand up for yourself, or leave, or tell the truth, that's not miscommunication. That's narrative control. And if they have to rewrite you to protect their ego, that was never love. That was image management. Don't let someone else's version of the story erase your experience. You don't have to be the villain just because you finally stopped playing their game. Covert narcissists don't just avoid blame, they outsource it. When they feel exposed, they don't reflect. They recruit, you'll see it happen in real time. They'll post vague, emotional messages online. They'll reach out to mutual friends first. They'll share one side of the story, theirs, in a way that paints them as fragile, hurt, and completely innocent. And they'll do it with just enough emotion to sound believable. They won't say you're a villain outright. They'll say they're confused. They'll say you've changed. They'll say they're just trying to understand why you've been so cold lately. But what they're really doing is collecting sympathy, creating a wall of support to cushion their image and corner you emotionally. Because once they've gathered a circle of people who feel sorry for them, any attempt you make to speak your truth will sound like an attack. Now you look defensive. Now you sound harsh. Now you are the one with the problem. You'll feel the narrative closing in, people pulling back. People who don't know the full story, but suddenly treat you like a threat. This is how covert narcissists stay protected. They never self-reflect. They pre-blame, they don't seek clarity. They seek loyalty, and the people around them, they don't even realize they're being used. They think they're being kind, supportive, helpful, but they're just props in someone else's performance. If you've ever walked away from a relationship and found yourself not only grieving the person, but defending yourself to everyone they knew, you know this feeling. It's not just betrayal, it's erasure, and it hurts. But here's the truth, you don't need everyone to understand. You don't need to explain yourself to their audience, because the people who truly know you will ask what really happened. They'll listen to more than one voice, and the ones who don't, they were never on your side to begin with. You don't owe anyone your silence, and you don't have to play the villain just to protect someone else's carefully crafted image. Not all apologies are created equal. Some are genuine, honest, a turning point. Others are just another tactic. Covert narcissists are skilled at saying sorry, but not because they mean it. They do it to manage perception, to reset the narrative, to buy time. They'll say things like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," or "I guess I can't do anything right." It sounds like humility, but it's not, it's control wrapped in self-pity. Because what they're really doing is shifting the focus off the harm they caused and onto how bad they feel about it. So now you're comforting them, now you're softening, now you're second-guessing if it was even that big of a deal. This is the cycle: hurt, apologize, reset, repeat. They use sorry as a tool to keep you close, to keep you hopeful, to keep you quiet. You think it's progress, but it's just a pause, because nothing actually changes. They don't examine their behavior. They don't set new intentions. They don't ask how to do better. They just want things to go back to normal, on their terms. And if you don't accept the apology, if you still express hurt, if you still ask for accountability, suddenly you're the one holding a grudge. You're too much. You're never satisfied. You're always looking for problems. Because the apology was never about you. It was about control, keeping their image intact, avoiding real consequences. But here's the truth. A real apology doesn't require you to erase your pain. It doesn't demand instant forgiveness. And it doesn't come with guilt when you need time to heal. So if someone keeps hurting you, then saying sorry, but never changing, you're not in a relationship. You're in a loop, and you have every right to step out of it. You don't have to stay just because someone knows how to say the right words. Watch the actions. Feel the pattern, because when an apology becomes a leash, it's not love, it's a performance. And you deserve something real.